Hello, YouTube. This is Chris Hemming, and I have the disease of sex and love addiction. It's actually been a little bit since I made a video, and a lot of that's because I'm really busy. A little bit of a background on me. After I got a divorce, after I got out of treatment and got a divorce, I decided to take the opportunity to start my life over and pursue something that I was very passionate about, because that's what recovery has given me that drive and motivation, and the sense of worth. And so now I'm in school full time, and I'm a coach, and I'm finishing school so I can be a coach full time at the college level. So I get really busy, and I fell into a bit of depression over the past week for several reasons that I'll get to later. But the reason why I'm making this video today is I'm on a couple of sex addiction closed Facebook groups. And one thing that I see that's recurring in there is a lot of partners coming in, maybe spouses or girlfriends or boyfriends, of someone, of the sex addict. So they're in a relationship with a sex addict. And this could be kind of controversial, but I feel like it's very important. Yes, I am divorced, but before I got divorced, I believe that me and my ex-wife were on the right track of mending. And the main reason why that we were able to do that is that she stopped blaming me for everything, and she took a good hard look at her own life. And from experience of myself and other stories that I've heard, for a relationship to work, it can't just be about one side. It can't just be about one side working on themselves. It can't just be about the addict working on the addict. It's hard to hear. It was very hard for me to hear this. It was very hard for my ex-wife to hear this. And it's very hard for people, especially new in the program, to hear this. But water seeks its own level. What do I mean by that? It means that you are going to attract people as sick as you are. Now, does that mean they're an addict? No, it doesn't. Does it mean that they're even maybe co-addicts? No, it doesn't. What it could mean is that maybe they're codependent. Maybe they're an enabler of somehow. Maybe they've got some dark-rooted issues of their family origin. They are just now playing out in their everyday lives currently. And they tend to play this victim role. Just like the addict does. The addict that's in active addiction is always blaming somebody else for their problems, and they don't want to take a look at their own issues, and they don't take any type of ownership. Well, us as an addict, me as the addict, I find people just like that. In my ex-wife, I found somebody that was going to take care of my everyday needs because she didn't want to be left. She had a father that kind of was in and out of her life at a very young age. She had a father that was actively cheating on her mother that she was a witness to, and that played out in her relationships. She was with abusive men and men that cheated on her. And instead of just looking at her and what she was doing and what kind of stuff that she was continuously playing out in her life, she just continued to find men like that. And as she got older, and as she didn't look more into herself and how that was affecting her and how she was contributing to that, she just found worse and worse men. Therefore, she found me. Now, at the same time, I was doing the same thing. I was looking for more broken people to be in a relationship with me, because I knew the more broken they were mean a few things for me. That one, that I could be active in my addiction and they weren't going to leave me. Two, that they were going to constantly try to fix me by giving me all kinds of affirmation. And three, they were going to take responsibility of things that I needed to take responsibility for. That's the classic case of somebody who is enabling me, who had no idea. In no way do I blame my ex-wife for my actions. Those are my actions, and I am suffering the consequences of those actions every day. I think very highly of my ex-wife. The reason why we got a divorce, honestly, is because I decided that I needed to continue to work on me, and she wanted us to work on us, and we weren't on the same page. Here's what I do know. Our relationship got better when we were both working on each other, that we were able to kind of work on ourselves. Once she filed for divorce, she stopped going to meetings of Co-Sex Addicts Anonymous. she stopped going to those meetings, and I continue to go to those meetings. And so we grew apart that way. She's very bitter towards me for great reason. I no longer have to listen to that kind of stuff. We're no longer in a relationship, and I'm able to move on with my life. And I'm at a point in my life now where I'm actually actively trying to date. And it can be difficult for a recovering sex addict to get into the dating life, because you have this, what we call, I call this burden I carry with me, because that's still stuff I got to work on, because it's just something I'm going to have to deal with the rest of my life. But I've become more accepting of that. So I got off track a little bit there, so I apologize. I tend to do that. I do have ADD, and you'll probably see that in these videos. It's just squirrel, and I go on to something else. But again, I just wanted to address that, especially because I see a lot of it. I see a lot of the playing the victim role, which is totally normal. And my whole thing is that if you are in a relationship with a sex addict, and you want that sex addict to get better, you have to understand that that sex addict's only going to get better when they choose to get better. And you can't make them get better. You can't will them to get better. You can't punish them to get better. You can't even award them to get better. Only the addict can get better. And in saying that, I feel that the best thing that the co-addict can do, or the codependent can do, if you don't feel like you fit those categories, then the person that's in the relationship with the sex addict, the best thing they can do is work on themselves. And the very first thing you have to do in order to do that is come to terms that you yourself, as the person in the relationship with the addict, played a role or plays a role. What role do you play? Look in the mirror and go and get honest with yourself. Just like the addict has to look in the mirror and get honest with themselves and realize that they've got a role in all this, and it's not because of the outside world, it's because of them and their actions. Same as the person that wants to be in the relationship with the addict. Now, again, I know people are not going to like hearing that. And they're going to go, no, it's their fault. I hear it a lot. You're right. Their actions are their fault. You are absolutely right. But at some point, you got to look at the fact that you are in the relationship with the addict. Why? I know I said that I was going to do a movie review on Thanks for Sharing, and I will do that. But one of the lines in there's a scene in there with Gwyneth Paltrow. She's dating Mark Ruffalo, who's the recovering sex addict, and they go over to his sponsor's house. The sponsor is a recovering alcoholic and sex addict who is still married. The woman stayed with him the entire time, and Gwyneth Paltrow was asking her why, and she goes, well, I'm the one that married the addict. At some point, I had to look at my part. And it's very true. Like, I think that is true in life. At some point, I got to look at my part. When I choose to do that, things get a little better, because now I'm worrying about me. And now I am an individual, and know that nobody can make me do anything. If I say somebody made me do that, it's because I allowed them to make me do those things. Not the other way around. Unless somebody physically is tying me down. But when it comes to the addiction, nobody ever made me go out and cheat on my ex-wife or have many partners when I was single. I did those things. Nobody made me go do those things. I didn't know how to cope. Those are the things I knew how to cope. At the time of my addiction, I didn't feel like I had a choice. But now that I'm in recovery, I do have a choice, because I have tools that I can work with. But nobody made me go do those things. As I say, that nobody's making that individual be in the relationship with a sex addict. And I'll hear, well, we have kids and we have a family. I get that. So it sounds like those people are doing whatever they can to make it work. But at the same time, if you want to make it work, look at yourself. What could you do to make yourself better? And then how can you bring that to the relationship? And that is a great way to start. It's a great way to start. The addict is already feeling a lot of shame and guilt. They don't want to be reminded about it all the time, because they are. They're constantly looking in the mirror and reminding themselves. What they want is support. They never got it before. At least in their mind, they never got it before. They were always told they weren't lovable and weren't deserving. So what did they go do? They wouldn't took it. They wouldn't took it. And for the first time in their life getting recovery, they're feeling support. It's weird. It's strange. And we're addicts. We relapse. My question for you is, what would you do with the alcoholic that relapse? Would you punish them or tell them it's okay, get back up on that horse and keep riding? It's a little bit different with sex addiction because it is so intimate and it's so personal. But it has to be the same approach when they mess up and they slip, because they might. If you are willing to be in the long haul and understand that's the addiction, they're just not being an asshole, then the support they need is to get it back up on that horse and ride. Now, the other thing about accountability is that I know my ex-wife at a very early stage, she wanted all my phone, she wanted all, and I was willing. I was like, whatever it takes. Well, that showed me two things. One, I wasn't doing it for me, and two, she wanted to control my life. And that's sick. That's just sick. It's just what it is. There's no boundaries there. As the addict, I still want my privacy because I'm a human being. Addiction is just something that I deal with. But I'm a human being. I have a right to privacy. But the co-addict or the one person in the relationship goes, well, he or she did these things to me. I deserve to know. Yes, you do. And you deserve to know in a neutral, safe environment for the both of y'all, most likely in a therapist's office. But the addict wants to feel safe too. And one way we feel safe is if we get some people that we learn to trust, aka a sponsor, aka a recovery group. Let those people hold the addict accountable because they've been there, they've done that. Then they feel safe about coming open about it. The problem is that we do something, we feel horrible about it, and if anybody found out, that they'd leave us. So we don't tell anybody. And what happens? We do it again, then we do it again, then we do it again, then we do another lie, cover up another lie, and another lie that covers another lie, and next thing you know, we forgot what lie we told originally, how many acts that we just did, and we just screwed up a lot more other things. All because my ex-wife wanted to be my accountability partner. It didn't work. It's not I didn't trust her or I didn't love her, it's that I was afraid that she'd leave me, and I couldn't stop. When I got an accountability partner that was my sponsor and people in recovery, I found my acting out was less and less and less because they made it a safe environment to go to when I made a mistake. And I wasn't looking to destroy my relationship even more than it already was. I just couldn't stop. That's what makes me the addict. So I really encourage the people that are in the relationship with the addict to just look at it. You can listen to this video and go, this guy's full of shit and I ain't listening to a word he has to say. And that's fine. What I am sharing is what has worked for me and what worked for my ex-wife. Now, I have no control over her. We are no longer in a relationship. When we were together, I had no control over her then. I like to think I did, but I don't. And I never did. I hope the best for her and I want the best for her. And I sincerely pray that when she gets in another relationship, she maybe, I have no idea, that she looks at the past and go, okay, what can I do as a human being to make sure I don't put myself in this position anymore? And the ones that are currently in that relationship, what can you do as a human being to make sure that you're doing your part to keep things on track? Because ultimately, that's all you can worry about. Ultimately, you only got you to worry about. You can't control him, but you can control you. And if you worry about you and control your actions, then things will turn out the way they're supposed to be. I'm not going to say things are going to turn out the way you want them because, well, that's just not how life works. And if the addict continues to work on themselves, and then two people are working on themselves, then they can grow together. If two people aren't working on themselves, or one person is and one person isn't because they think it's their problem, not theirs, they will fall apart. They will fall apart. And just to be clear, if two people work on themselves, doesn't mean they'll come together. Just as anything in this life, some things aren't meant to be. And that may or may not be the case. I don't know. I don't know your situation. But I've rambled long enough. I just kind of get it out there. I'm a very passionate person. So I hope that made sense. I'm probably going to go watch this video myself and make sure that I didn't say anything offensive or inaccurate. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe, leave a comment, ask any questions, and I will do my best to answer them. do my best to answer them. I hope you have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye.